This video is part 3 of the Physical Activity and Fundamental Movement Skills webinar recording, which was delivered by the Good for Kids team. This part consists of a group game, cool down, resources, and wrap up.
So the next part of the move session plan is the group game. So usually we would play a game together to put the FMS that we've learned into a game context in person. But as we can't do that, we're trying an online format. So what we'll do as an alternative is you've got a game template, which was put up in the chat box and I think is going to be put up again shortly. So we'll post that in the box and then you can fill in your game. So the instructions of this game are to pick at least 2 FMS, create a game incorporating both of the FMS using the equipment that you've got at your service, or no equipment if you like. Note the instructions of the game, any modifications that you can have to the game to make it either easier or harder for the children. And then there's also a section for any reflections. So we're hoping that you'll go back to your service and run this game there, and then you can fill in those reflections and edit the game as needed. So we'll give you some time to kind of have a go at this now. But Luke and I have also made a version ourselves. So Luke, do you have that available to present? Fantastic. We'll just have a look at this again. So we've got our 2 FMS. So in this version that Luke and I have put together, we've chosen skip and catch. But as part of catching, you actually have to throw. So we put in a third one without even meaning to. So see how many of you that happens to as well. But basically this game that we've thought of, it's played in a circle. So you have all the children skipping around the outside of the circle with some music playing. Then when the music stops, the children have to stop and throw the ball up in the air and catch it using those techniques that we've just watched in the video. The music then starts again and the children skip around the circle in the opposite direction. So the equipment that we've written down for this one are to have a speaker and some music, and then something to use as a ball for each child. So if you've got a ball for each child, that's fantastic, but you can also use things like beanbags, scrunched up newspaper, balloons, anything that you've got available at the service. We then have some rope or some chalk markers to draw out the circle that the children have to move around in. In terms of modifications, so you can change the size of the ball here to make it easier or harder, and the children can also throw the ball to the person next to them to learn to throw and catch to one another. So the idea here is that we would then go and run this game as a kind of trial run with some children and then reflect back and see what we'd like to do with it to make it better. There's also a space for a diagram there if anyone feels like they would like to draw there. So yeah, if everyone could have a quick go at seeing what kind of game they can come up with. You can use any of those FMS that we've talked about today, as long as there's at least 2. And if you'd like to share your game with other webinar participants, please feel free to scan a copy in. So you can email that to hnelhd-goodforkids@health.nsw.gov.au. And then we can compile all the game ideas and share them with the participants that are here today. So we'll give a few minutes for this activity. So yeah, have fun. I would like to also emphasise that these games don't have to be fantastic. So Luke and I, we made this game up in just a couple of minutes. So don't feel too pressured to make something super duper right away. And as always, there's that reflection section that you can go back to and edit things after you've had a go at running some things yourself. I've got some things coming up in the chat. So we've got someone here saying they've got 2 lines, child to side, slide to the ball. Yep. Stationary dribble the ball and then side slide back. Next child to repeat. Fantastic. Okay. All right, everyone, we might keep going. So again, really happy for you to send through any of the game ideas that you've got to our email, or you can continue to post them in the chat tonight. Okay, over to you, Luke.
Okay, so we now move into the cool down section of our move session plan. And as we touched on before, we have a couple of different components to this. So first off is a action song. And again, we're going to use the Munch and Move CD for this. There's a song on there called Twist, Balance, Shake and Run. So we'll give that a go, again, following along to the actions that are included in the lyrics. And then we'll get into a relaxation activity called Cat Curl and Cow Call. But yeah, let's start off with our action song again. Just remember to participate in a safe way, given your physical capabilities and the space that you're in.
Let's twist. Oh, let's twist. Twisting is fun. Come on, everyone. Come and twist with me. Now twist your body from side to side. Twist up high. Now twist down low. Turn around and here we go. Let's balance. Oh, let's balance. Stand on one leg, try not to fall. Stand on both feet, stretch up tall. Stand on tippy toes, balance carefully. Balancing is lots of fun for me. Let's shake. Oh, let's shake. Shaking is fun. Come on, everyone. Come and shake with me. Now shake your leg out to the side. Shake your other leg out wide. Shake your arms and shake your belly. Shake your body like a bowl full of jelly. Let's run. Oh, let's run. Running is fun. Come on, everyone. Come and run with me. Now run fast. Run slow. Moving your body is fun, you know. Now twist. Balance. Shake. Run. Moving your body is fun. Yeah.
Okay. So that's our action song. Next up is our cat curl and cow call activity. So the instructions for this are up on the slide. So basically what we're doing here is kneeling on all fours. We're starting to relax. So as you breathe in, curl up your back like a cat. And then as you exhale, and you can let out a moo like a cow. If you like to take your microphone off mute, we'd love to hear all the moves. So give it a go. Feel free to get on all fours if you'd like. I'm just going to do it seated here, but basically curling our back as I breathe in. And then as we breathe out, we're moving like a cow. Moo. Repeat that a few times, as much as you like. I'm sure the children at your service would love to hear, would love the opportunity to moo like a cow as well.
It's much less awkward than just doing it on yourself.
Okay, and then our transition activity. So this one is called Move Like a Blank. So you can fill in that blank with any type of animal. So you might like to print off pictures of animals at your service. You might have some stuffed animals at the service. Basically, any animal that you can replicate a movement for, you can use for this activity. So in the example we've got on the screen, where we've printed off some pictures of animals. So it could be horses, cats, fish, or kangaroos. Place those pictures in a bowl and allow the children to pick one out. And then basically you can leave that up to the children to interpret. how those animals move. And then the children can replicate that movement as we move into the next activity. So, for example, with our horse, we could use our galloping fundamental movement skill to transition into the next activity. Just for the sake of time, we might skip over giving that one a go. We've practiced our galloping before, but you might like to also practice, some of those other animal movements. So moving like a cat, a fish, a kangaroo. There's lots of different options that you might be able to come up with for this activity as well.
Okay, so to help you incorporate all of these FMS into your everyday practice and different games and things, we've got plenty of resources that can help you out. So the Munch and Move manual has got some good game ideas, as well as the other Munch and Move resources that are available on our website. We've got the FMS in action. We've got FMS with Frankie and Friends. We've got Play With Me, which is for 0 to 3-year-olds. And there's also the Yalunga traditional Indigenous games available, as well as many, many more things.
There's also, as part of Munch and Move, a number of practices which help services to embed the Munch and Move program in their day-to-day practice. And these practices are evidence-based ways to help promote children's health. So there's 6 practices that are related to physical activity, and these are that services provide opportunities for physical activity for 1 to 5-year-olds for at least 30% of the daily opening hours. That services provide a supportive physical activity environment, including access to portable physical activity equipment and opportunities for both indoor and outdoor active play. That services provide daily opportunities for fundamental movement skills for children 3 to 5 years of age. That services have a written policy, procedure or guideline encouraging physical activity in the service. That services have provided health information to families about physical activity, as well as other health topics within the past 12 months. And that services have at least half of their primary contact educators that have accessed professional development in physical activity. And if your service would like any support with these practices, please get in touch with the Good for Kids team. So we've posted our email address in the chat. You can get in touch with us through that email address, or also through your support officer. As we mentioned, there's lots of resources available to help with these practices on the Good for Kids website and also the Munch and Move website, and links to those key resources are also included in your handouts as well. And just to touch on the physical activity policy side of things, a bit more in a little bit more depth. So obviously policies in a childcare service really help to guide that day-to-day service practice and ensure consistency. And having a physical activity policy can help your service to encourage children to be physically active and to develop their fundamental movement skills. So your service might already have a physical activity policy in place, and that's fantastic if you do. If not, or if you'd like some ideas on what could be included in your policy, there is a policy kit available on the Good for Kids website. And so this kit includes a policy template, so you can use that and adjust it to your service needs. And there's also a policy insert. So if you have an existing policy and you'd like to add physical activity within that, the policy insert could be a good thing to use as well. And as part of Munch and Move, we've got 3 recommended elements that are included within your physical activity policy. And so these are on the slide. It's having that reference to the Australian 24-hour movement guidelines that we spoke about earlier on in the webinar. That physical activity is embedded in the daily program through spontaneous and intentionally planned active play that's both child-initiated and educator-led. And also that educators actively role model to children appropriate physical activity behaviours. So if you'd like any support with your physical activity policy, including a review of it, feel free to get in touch with our team. And just a couple of other things to note around the physical activity policy as well. It's important to keep in mind that families might experience certain difficulties which can impact on their ability to comply with certain policies. And it's really important to engage families in the policy process, as I'm sure a lot of you do already. So yeah, just really being mindful of establishing and maintaining those trusting relationships, being open to challenges and ideas that might be different to the service's own ideas, and also developing those policies in collaboration with families, can really engage them in that process. And specifically for services that might have Aboriginal children enrolled, it's really important to consider the negative impact that policy has had on Aboriginal communities historically, and also to have some steps to ensure that any new policies are culturally appropriate. So a few things to consider for your service if you have Aboriginal families are enrolled is just being aware of your own worldviews and values and understanding that history and the impact that history has had at a national and local level, and also to develop policies in collaboration with Aboriginal families, Aboriginal staff members, and Aboriginal communities and organisations.
Thanks, Luke. And thank you everyone for participating tonight. We hope you've had a lot of fun. We certainly have. So we'd just like you to please complete the evaluation survey that we'll post in the chat to give us a bit of feedback on how tonight went. And we'll also give you a certificate of participation that will be coming to your service in the next few days. So again, thank you so much for participating, and please share your learnings from this webinar with other educators and staff at your service. We really, really value that you've attended tonight. So thank you so much. All right, have a good night, everyone.